that helped a little, and of course the colours did blend, the pinks and the browns, but that's okay, that's fine, I really don't mind. We'll have to put back a bit of the tree here and a bit of the branches, because now they really are all lost and gone. Then I'm not going to add too much, again for fear, big pool there, fear of duplicating and sort of going over them and making a mess. So this was one side of the tree, that's the other. I think I can leave it there. And whatever is not visible, I will make visible once it's dry. I'm probably going to have to leave it to dry until tomorrow. I won't fiddle with it anymore today. But tell me what you think in the comments, whether you have seen anyone else doing anything similar. There are a lot of artists, a lot of fluid artists out there, and they do cherry blossoms in the traditional way of blowing out blooms, and botanical designs. So this is different, as all my intentional pours are, and this is definitely an intentional pour to create cherry blossoms. It's not just a random thing. I thought about it, and I have, but by this stage I've poured out many trees and many different designs, and there are different ways you can do them, and each time I do them slightly different, just to see what the outcome will be. And I think it's lovely mixtures, lovely colours that you get this way. And of course there's something called personal taste, I guess, and so some people might not like this kind of painting at all, but I love the way the colours mix, and I do all paintings, but I would never get those precise colour mixtures even with dry acrylic paint. I've come close with dry acrylic paint, but not quite the same as fluid. The painting has dried almost completely. There's still some wet areas, but it's dry enough for me to put it upright for a few minutes while I just show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to paint away the parts of the trees that I don't like to shape the trees better. Then I'm going to paint in the branches a bit so that they're a bit clearer. They're there, but I want to make them clearer and just make nicer shapes of the trees. So it's a pity I'm going to have to lose some of these beautiful parts like this here. I'll see what I can save to keep as just maybe fallen blossoms or extended branches, but a lot of it I will have to lose in order to shape the trees nicely. But that's okay, there'll still be a lot of the original colours. All the original colours will be in the tree. I won't change the colours in the tree, just around them, just to paint away and make the shapes more tree-like. And it will probably need 2 layers, I can see that, because the colours underneath are quite dark. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'm just using a filbert brush with the same colour that I poured out, the same blue. So, and I am sort of just looking at my cherry tree painting that I did in oil. Oh, now it's dripping. That's what I didn't want. So that's okay, that part's going to go anyway. That's so pretty. So I will continue like this and then bring you back. And that's going to stay, those are fallen petals. And I'll bring you back when there's more to see. Now there's a nice tree shape. Well, I've laid the canvas flat now, so I'll record it and see if it's worth keeping. And I've thought about it. Perhaps that part that I painted away, even though it's still visible, it's fine. I can just leave it as part of the background. I don't have to do another layer over it just to completely eradicate it, because after all, in nature. You have lots of things, or, you know, in a cherry farm, lots of trees in the background that you can't see, and I couldn't paint all the trees I wanted to paint in this painting. So that's fine. Yeah, I've got such lovely colours. This mixture is just beautiful. But it is in the tree as well, so I'll just have to let it go. So here I need to either extend the tree down a bit or bring the ground up a bit. The tree's hanging in midair. Just wouldn't blow out the colours that I wanted. So I'm going to just, I don't have any of the brown of the trees left. So I'm just using the colour of the ground. And then I'll add a bit of the red to it and see if I can bring the tree up that way. Or should I say, bring the tree down? Yeah, that will be the right length. Add a bit of red to it and it'll be perfect. And I think I just need to make some more of the brown mixture for the branches. In some of the places, like here, the paint is actually still wet, so I couldn't get the paint to stay. Obviously, it just moved as I moved the brush along. But for the rest, I was able to drag the gold through and make the branches and little twigs. I do think I'll have to leave it to dry a bit and come back and do the final layer with brown. Here it seems okay. I can't really see if it's wet there. Here I can see some of the branches, and I can't see all of the branches, but I can just add in new ones where I just follow the line of the paint as the paint flowed. It also sometimes just forms natural little divisions between the colours. So I think, and I'll add some lines through these blossoms that have fallen as well. And I do think it's going to need another layer of blue. I don't like it as it is at the moment. Although, you know, I need to wait till it's dry. Because everything changes when the paint dries. Here I'm really just guessing. I can see there are some lines there, but I don't know where they originate. With just a bit of dry brown, burnt sienna on the brush, I'm going to just define some of these areas that I don't like and tidy it up, and then by then hopefully the gold will be dry. Still very wet at the moment, and then I'll come back and go over all those branches with this fine brush and make the lines a bit finer. So the gold will just kind of be part of the design, which, you know, there was gold in the painting, but not much of it showed up other than in the top corner and a few other places, but most of it seemed to have been swallowed up somehow, somewhere. So, this is too wet still. The painting has had time to dry, and I do like the effect overall, except that not much of the white is showing through, and also I don't really like the way I've done the branches, that all the little branches have basically pushed all the petals behind the branches. That's the effect that I'm seeing. So what I'm going to do is I'm taking this big pulpit brush and a bit of the pink and white mixture and just making a few blossoms in the front of the branches, just here and there, and just little ones. Hope I can do them in such a way that it won't be too obvious that they're not part of the original design. I'm just tapping on the paint, and hopefully that will improve it a bit. See, there was white there. Let's see what that does overall. I think the pink and white mixture just softened it a bit and brought the blossoms in front of the trees, in front of the branches, and now I'm just going to redo some of this blue background, which is still a bit messy. Using the big brush again, I'll first just tap it on, and then I'll brush it all together. And I guess I will leave it overnight and sleep on it before I decide if this is going to be the final painting. I also changed the blossoms on the bottom. They were too big, and when I put the branches through them, they just looked odd. And so I just broke them up with the background colour and then added a few more softer edges because they kind of came out in straight. I think it looks much better now, but I think the colour palette is still lacking something. I think I need some touches of green grass in between here, but I will leave that for now and really let the paint settle and have a look in 24 hours time. And the painting's only had a few hours to dry, but I realized that what I don't like about it is this color of the lower third of the painting. I just don't like this grayish color. I would prefer a muddy color, and so I'm painting this in. I have to paint those petals over again, and it also probably needs a lot more petals, just more scattered and less clumpy, and little bits of grass. So I won't cover the grey completely. I'll just leave it in sort of patches. I'm not going to do it smoothly, just to give that earthy look about it. And then little bits of grass here and there will improve the colour, I think. And also, I must say, I'm not too fond of all the gold that's showing through. Thinking of going over that with a bit of pearlescent white, adding some white to the blossoms. I don't know, it's just too much gold. It was a mistake to put it down before I put the branches down. And then I wanted the branches to be thinner, so I thought, well, let the gold glint around the branches, but it's too much. So this painting, or a painting in this style, blowing out the blossoms on top, would probably be better on a large canvas, a much larger canvas. It's not easy doing it on a small canvas. I mean, it's not impossible. It wasn't impossibly difficult. It's just you have more freedom to do what you wanted and more perspective. So one day I might do that on a much larger canvas. I'm going to do a very large oil painting of cherry blossom trees on a large canvas. But I don't know when I'll get around to doing an actual blowout. This is how the painting dried, and I love the colours of the blossoms. I love the colour of the sky. I'm not so mad about the colour of the ground, and I've decided for now I'm not going to add any grass in because this painting has a number of problems in that I didn't see that the paint was actually still wet when I made the branches, and so some of the paint was wet and there are now deep grooves because it wasn't wet enough to return to fill up the gaps. It was almost dry, so just wet enough to really mess up, and that's what I did. And you might not see it, well, you won't see it on the video, and I didn't see it when I finished the painting. I only saw it when I lifted it up to check that all the lines were in place. And I held it up into the light, and then I saw, horror of horrors, all these messed up areas here. So that's going to be an experiment that I'm going to redo on a bigger canvas, and I'm going to do it differently, but hopefully better. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave your comments and let me know what you think. Bye for now.